Welcome, everyone, and happy almost Stuttering Awareness Week. I am so thrilled to be here. I first just wanted to say thank you so much to Speaker-Designate Assemblymember Robert Rivas for authoring this Stuttering Awareness Week resolution. I'm Maya Chupkov. I am the host, creator, and producer of Ambie Award nominated Proud Stutter podcast, and I will be emceeing this press conference today. And I will also be saying a few words in just a moment. But I did want to introduce our first speaker, Assembly member and Speaker designee, Assemblymember Robert Rivas.
Well, it is great to be here this morning. I appreciate the opportunity to be here and to say, a few words. And I certainly want to express my gratitude to Maya and all the work that she does. And to everyone who has certainly been a part of this to help pass ACR 59, which proclaims May 8th through the 13th as Stuttering Awareness Week. And as Maya mentioned, my name is Robert Rivas, and I'm proud to represent my home, which is the 29th Assembly District, which is on the central coast of California. I live in a little town called Hollister. It's where I grew up, and I've lived my entire life. Certainly excited to serve as Speaker a designate for the California State Assembly. And like many others across California and across the United States, I have a stutter, and I have had a stutter my entire life. You noticed it when I had to pause when I said Speaker designate. Because certain words I can't say. And so certainly, as you can imagine, public speaking is not one of my favorite things to do. Unfortunately, it's an unavoidable part of the work I do as an elected official. And so certainly I've been driven to public service to give back and to represent my community. And certainly those are values that were instilled in me by my grandfather, who was a lifelong farm worker. I grew up in poverty in San Bernardino County. Grew up in attractive migrant farm worker housing. So naturally, growing up in poverty and with a stutter, it was not easy. I can tell you it was not easy. It was at times frustrating. It was embarrassing many times. And at times, my stutter would render me speechless. But this, despite the years of speech therapy that I had, I still have my stutter. But certainly, at the end of the day, that is who I am. And I am a better person now because of my stutter. And I say that because it has forced me to work so much harder in everything I do. I have to put so much time and effort, not only to improve my speech, but to hopefully one day overcome my stutter. And so certainly, as a child who grew up with a stutter, I never imagined that I could ever serve an elective office, let alone be the next Speaker of the State Assembly. And so certainly as I've learned, stuttering is not a sign of inadequacy. You are not less of a person because you speak differently, or because you have, to have a sheet of notes with all these weird markings all over it to help and, remind me that I need a pause, or, I need to, slow things down. But at the end of the day, this is California. This is the greatest state in the world. And we lead the way to create more inclusive some communities. We're a model for the rest of the world. And so it's important that we embrace those who stutter, those with speech impediments and other verbal disfluencies. But again, appreciate all of your advocacy, appreciate all of your work. So certainly, we're here to help and to support all of you. but certainly your advocacy means the world to me, and it means so much to hundreds of thousands of millions across our state. And so with that, proud to be here and excited for the work that we have ahead. So thank you all so much.
Sorry, this is awkward, but I just want to make sure I get him before you leave. All right, thank you so much, Assembly Member. So our next speaker is going to be me. So you guys already know me. I honestly, I'm probably going to thank Assembly Member Speaker-Designate Robert Rivas for like a million times more today. Really, because of you, California is going to be the first state in the nation to designate a Stuttering Awareness Week. Knowing that the future Speaker of the Assembly is a fellow person who stutters gives me so much hope. The fact that the stuttering community not only has a president who stutters, but also a statewide representative in such a high position means so much. So I'm just in awe that I'm able to share something so personal with someone that's so inspiring. So now I'm going to shift a little bit and talk about my stutter. Not all stuttering is the same. My stutter sneaks up on me. I can go months, even years, without having to worry about stuttering, and then all of a sudden, I can't pass as fluent, no matter how hard I try. Funny enough, starting last week, I'm experiencing an uptick in my stuttering, which I guess you can say is perfect timing because it's Stuttering Awareness Week. As much as I want to stand up here and say that I love my stutter, I'm the host of a podcast called Proud to Stutter. That is simply not true. For the past few days, I've been extremely frustrated. Not being able to communicate the way I was that I wanted to has taken a toll on me. While I've come a long way in accepting my stutter and being more open about it, I still have moments where I'm struggling with my stutter. But what gets me through the tough moments are all of you, my stuttering community. Take a moment and look around. Like, look at these amazing people. We have gathered here today a community of people who stutter, our loved ones and allies. If it wasn't for my stutter, I would have not met all of you. It's okay not to be okay with your stutter 100%. It's okay to have frustrations about your stutter, but just remember that you are not alone and you have a community of people who can relate and support you. And of course, I have to do a shameless plug about my podcast, Proud Stutter. As I've mentioned before, we were nominated for an AMBI Award earlier this year, which I'm hoping will lead to more awareness. And we also received our first large grant from the California Humanities to do an audio documentary on Californians who stutter. And Assembly Member, I look forward to interviewing you for that. I'm hoping. And thank you again, everyone, for all your advocacy. And that is my speech. So you can clap now. I'm just kidding. All right. The next person I'm going to introduce, it has really helped me get this whole thing going, and he's the one that initially found out that our speaker designate has a stutter himself, and he is such a great friend of mine, and this is actually the first time we've ever met in person, so it's really a lovely day. And yeah, so our next speaker is Johnny Thapina, a person who stutters that lives in Sacramento.
Good morning, everybody. As Maya said, my name is Johnny Pina. I'm also a lobbyist with the League of California Cities, but right now, today, I'm here in the capacity of a person that stutters and a stuttering advocate. I'm talking about the League of California Cities. I just want to say thank you to my colleagues and friends here in the back of the room who came here to show this support for the for ACR 59 and also the stuttering community. I've been at the organization for about 6 years, and I was hired on as an intern as a person that stutters, was given a promotion to an analyst as a person that stutters, and now I've been a lobbyist there for about a year and a half as a person that stutters. And just a big thank you to all of those in the organization who have been great friends and who've also shown me support the whole way through my career. So thanks for that. I'm so pleased to be here today to celebrate ACR 59, declaring Stuttering Awareness Week. Again, I'd like to give a huge thank you to Assembly Speaker-Designate Robert Rivas and his staff for working with us to introduce this resolution. And of course, a huge thank you to Haya for all of her work on the resolution and the Great Proud Stutter podcast. Another shameless plug there. If you haven't checked it out, I highly encourage you to check it out. ACR 59, first and foremost, is intended to spread awareness and build community. It took me nearly 25 years to find the stuttering community, and I wish I'd found it a whole lot younger in life. I've had a stutter for as long as I can remember, and have been in speech therapy for nearly as long, off and on, throughout my life. While I'm very grateful for those speech pathologists that have helped me along the way, nothing has helped me more than getting to know the stuttering community over these past few years. The stuttering community has shown me nothing but support and has done a lot for me to get to the point where I accept my stutter and am comfortable with how I speak and who I am. For most of my life, stuttering has been, frankly, a source of shame and embarrassment a lot of the time. But hearing from and getting to know other folks that stutter lets me know that I have folks that can relate to my experience. I know that those folks have my back on a daily basis. I first heard about the Proud Stutter podcast, and in turn, I engaged further with the greater stuttering community after I saw the news coverage about San Francisco declaring Stuttering Awareness Week. I hope that this resolution has the same effect for people statewide who are in my position, and I hope it inspires those who stutter to get to know the stuttering community and become advocates of awareness themselves. ACR 59 is a signal to everyone that stutters that your voice matters. It not only matters, but it is essential. It's needed in your community, in your city hall, and in the state capitol, and in the swing space. As a person that stutters and works in politics, this resolution is a strong signal that my public testimony is just as valuable as the next person's, even if it takes me a little longer to express that. The Capitol and your local city hall can be an intimidating place for anyone to go, but for someone that stutters, the idea of going to your government to make a public speech can be a daunting task. I hope that ACR 59 makes it a little easier for those who stutter to participate in our democracy, and hopefully will increase civic engagement within the stuttering community. By passing ACR 59, the California legislature is saying that legislators know what stuttering is, and that those that do are always welcome. I hope this resolution sends a clear message that those that stutter, a clear message to those that stutter, that stuttering is okay. Your voice is valued, and you deserve to be heard. Again, big thank you to Assemblymember Rivas for the work that he's done for the stuttering community and for all of you that have joined us here today. Thanks so much.
All right, our next speaker is probably the youngest person I've ever seen speak publicly about stuttering, and I'm just so inspired by this young man. So I want to introduce Sam, who is a 10-year-old that's who stutters.
Hi, my name is Sam. I'm almost 11 and I live in Shingle Springs. I have had a stutter since I was 5. Stuttering has changed my life in many ways. Stuttering makes it super hard to talk and read in front of others. But stuttering makes me unique and not just an ordinary person. I think that it is important to educate and make people aware of stuttering. It can make someone's day a whole lot better by letting them know that you can think that they aren't an outcast just because they stutter and talk differently from everyone else. Here are some facts about stuttering. The facts are that stuttering is a speech pattern involving disfluencies in someone's speech. About 1% of the people in the world stutter and 5% of children go through a period of stuttering. Those are the facts. Here are some myths about stuttering. The myths are that people who stutter are less intelligent. Stuttering is a bad habit that you can break if you want to. Those are the myths. I'm happy to be telling you about why it's important to be aware of stuttering. Hope you had a great day so far. Thank you for listening to me.
As a state, get behind this resolution.
And Grammy Award winner Elvis Presley. If you drive across Mississippi, you might find yourself in Arcabutla. In that tiny lake town where my dad's probably fishing right about now, stage and screen actor James Earl Jones was born. This EGOT Award winner is known for his roles in The Lion King and the Star Wars series of films and TV shows. Happy Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you. Go down the road a mite near Itabena, Mississippi, and you'll find the birthplace of a man named Riley King. You likely know him best as Grammy Award-winning blues legend B.B. King, who along with his guitar Lucille made Mississippi Delta blues world famous with songs like The Thrill Is Gone and When Love Comes to Town. So why mention these Mississippians in California? Well, these individuals are recognized for their award-winning voices. They also identify as stutterers. I'm not going to tell you they overcame anything, but I can tell you they used their voices to great acclaim throughout their careers. Representation and having role models matter when it comes to identity. In her book, Stutterer Interrupted, the comedian who almost didn't happen, comedian Nina G., she's from Oakland, California, by the way, shared that when she was a kid, the only professional performer she knew who stuttered was an anthropomorphic cartoon character named Porky Pig of Looney Tunes cartoons. Now, you're probably thinking, as so am I, that Porky Pig is hardly a suitable representation of a disabled person for anyone, especially when it's used for comedic effect at the expense of someone with a disability. As we acknowledge Stuttering Awareness Week and the value of verbal diversity, let us remember that there is universal responsibility in ensuring accessibility. There's value in including a diversity of thought and experience. I'm proud to be a new Californian and part of a state that values diversity in meaningful ways. My hope is that Sac State, Sacramento, and our beautiful state of California continue to promote growth and create purposeful opportunities for those who've been marginalized, ostracized, silenced, or historically ignored based on their disability identity. Thank you again for the chance to address you today. I look forward to continued partnerships and support in the disability justice work being done across the state. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, we have 3 more speakers. Our next one, he actually was at an event I did last night, a stuttering spoken word night in San Francisco. This person is a poet, and he is also a person who stutters. Adam Janelli, welcome.
Thanks. I'm Adam Gianelli, and I'm a person who stutters, and I'm a writer. It's wonderful that in this moment my art is intersecting with legislation, so a big thanks to the assembly member and everyone who worked hard on the resolution. People who stutter come from all walks of life, and people who stutter are just like everyone else, except that we need a little bit more time to speak, and that is the only difference. This is a poem called How to Hear a Stutter. When I was growing up, I got a lot of advice on how to manage my stutter, and this is a poem that gives advice to the listener, because it really takes like two people sort of really for a stutter to occur. So you have a speaker and a listener. So if you interrupt the speaker, you're silencing the stutter, and so you really are affecting the moment of stuttering itself. Do not say, spit it out. I'm not chewing, I'm humming. Do not interrupt. Bask in palpitation. Do not look away. The eyes are eloquent. Do not intercede. Presumption tapers. Do not laugh. Nothing is more human than a tremble. Do not mimic. The miming of frailty is the mastering of frailty, and mastery is not frail. Do not say stop and start again. A sentence is serendipitous. Do not interrupt. I have my own walls already. Do not say stop and start again. A word is a stairwell. Do not hang up. Make silence your messenger. Do not ask if I've forgotten my name. A name is not an order. It is an invitation. Do not intercede. Here is my voice, made of strain and spittle. Listen. Here is my voice, seismic. Patience. Here is my quietness. Thank you.
All right. Our next speaker was also at Stuttering Spoken Word Night last night. He is a comedian. He is also a person who stutters, and he also lives in Sacramento. Let's give a warm welcome to Willie Travis.
Gotta see. I don't know how close to get. I don't want to yell at you guys. Thank you so much, Maya, and as well as Assemblyman and all of my brothers and sisters here who experienced the same thing that I did. It's a very well, as Maya said, each stutter is different, and to come from where I come from, Gulfport, Mississippi, it's not a thing that's really magnified like that, and it's not, it's not a lot like here where there's a major sense of community. So I'm really appreciative of that, and I thank you all. I've never been in the capacity of something like this before, so it's very refreshing for me. But yes, I have been stuttering my entire life. I'm what's known as a covert stutterer. My friend, a mutual friend of a few of us, Bay Area comedian Nina G, put me on to, just kind of the ins and outs of stuttering, and I'm very thankful. Like I said, I'm a covert stutterer, and what that means is that I spent my entire life hiding it well. I know what to avoid, and that's pretty much me in a nutshell. Kind of funny when before COVID began, I just kind of got into, what type of stutterer I was, and so when we went through that break, I wasn't really out as much. So when we got off of the break, and I was out and about again, I would tell people that instead of a covert stutterer, I'm a COVID stutterer. And that was kind of, a few people were kind of taken back by that. They didn't know exactly what that was, but, just to be able to realize, that there's others out there who have gone through what I've gone through, and, just knowing how I dealt with my stuttering as well. There's so many facets, and I'm very thankful to Nina G for bringing me into that light, and I'm just overall thankful to have a voice, and I really appreciate you all. Thank you for having me here.
All right, and please give a warm welcome to our last speaker, Mike Meany, a person who stutters from Menlo Park.
Hi, everybody. My name is Mike Meany. I'm originally from Tucson, Arizona, and now call the Bay Area home. And I just want to paint a little bit of a picture of what my life was like when I was Sam's age. So as a 10-year-old, the first time I had to speak publicly was at church. And I was reading scripture and I stuttered, and some people laughed at me, and I started crying on stage, and it was like this really, really like searing moment. And I felt very alone. And I know that growing up for me, like a stage, a podium, a microphone, like these were like objects of fear. And so I just want to acknowledge, like, it's so empowering to be with everyone up here who like has verbal disfluency and who's speaking proudly and powerfully, and to have an assembly member who's leading us here in California. It's something that I never could have imagined, and so I just have a lot of gratitude. I'll just share quickly that I'm also a covert stutterer now. I move my hands, I shift my weight, I have a lot of different words I can slip in and out at any time, but I still have to deal with this every day. I'm giving a speech at my undergraduate University of Georgetown in a few weeks, and the speech is on discernment, and D's are one of the hardest sounds for me to say, and I still don't know if I should introduce my stutter before or just see what happens. And when I was working at Facebook, when I first connected with Maya, I do research, and a lot of my research is videoed and put up for consumption, and I was anxious about what people would think of me if they didn't know I stuttered, and so I posted about it, and it turns out there were a few dozen people also at Facebook who stuttered, and we formed a group to talk about how to deal with this in the workplace. And so through that I connected with Maya, and so I'll just end by saying, for me growing up, again, when I was Sam's age, it felt very lonely. I didn't know there were other people who knew all these things, having to count how many people ahead of you there were before it was your turn to read, so that you could find the exact words that you have to say. All of these little tricks that I say, and people up here, they know that. And so it's just, I'm incredibly grateful that this legislation passed and is going to grow awareness of something that a lot of us have experienced, but have felt alone, and now we feel seen and together and heard. So thank you.
All right, well, that concludes our speakers, and I just wanted to say again, thank you so much, everyone, for being here. D's are also hard for me. So saying assembly member speaker designate is really hard. So, but thank you so much. Like, I am just so grateful, and I'm just trying to like soak in all the good feelings of this moment. So yeah, thank you all so much. And I guess we'll take pictures next.